as St. Martin, our people, we have to work together, you know. So moving forward, you just need to get back to basics, and from there you could see everything.
Do not settle for less in life. And entrepreneurship is the best way to go. Working for yourself, 2 thumbs up. A blessed and wonderful good afternoon to our amazing St. Martin people and our SOS family all around the world. Welcome to your program, Strictly Business, with your host, Mr. Brian Barry, alongside your co-host, Mr. Julian Rolox Jr. Call up a friend, call up a family member, call up someone and tell them it's another blessed day on the friendly island of St. Martin. Tune in to SOS Radio 95.9 FM every Sunday from 12 to 12:30 for another interesting topic. But of course, before we get started, we'd like to shout out and thank all our sponsors that make this program possible. First, we'd like to thank the Aki Supermarket. If you want to do your grocery shopping today or during the week, you got to go and visit the Aki Supermarket. They are located right there on the Village Road for all your grocery shopping needs today. And if you're looking for that fresh look, that fresh haircut, you got to go and visit the Los Mejores Barbershop. They're also located right there on the Village Road for your convenience. And if you're thinking movies, you got to think the Video Block in French Quarter. For all the latest movies, get them on DVD, get them on USB, even on your hard drive or your smartphone as well. And we also got a nice selection of PS4 games. If you're thinking movies, think the Video Block. And if you're thinking food, your belly, you want some great tasting food, we got Jerky's Tiki Hut on the Village Road for some great tasting barbecue chicken and ribs. We also got Jerky's by the Plaza Casino as well. And if you're over the hill, we got Caribbean Jerky's right across the Megaplex Cinemas. And not forgetting right there on the Pondfield, we got Fat Boy Jimmy for some great tasting food. We also would like to thank GEBE, our water and electricity company. GB, we thank you so much for your continued support. And for all your apartments or commercial spaces, number one place to give a call is J&J Properties. Call them today at 588-1216. That is J&J Properties, 588-1216. And if you're looking for that surround system, the flat screen TVs, you got to go and visit number one spot, Boltans Electronics Store for all your electronic needs today. And for some more great tasting food, we got Stashaz Restaurant right next to Aki Supermarket. Give them a call at 550-9108 or 524-9834. That's Stashaz. And last but not least, another great supermarket on board is the Supreme Supermarket. For all your grocery shopping needs today, they're located right there on the Arch Road, Hispaniola Road number 1, for all your grocery shopping in that neighborhood. Thank you so much for all our sponsors. Brother Junie in the house, blessed afternoon.
How are you doing?
How you keeping?
How are you doing today?
Bless.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Today we have a special guest, boy. I want to go straight in it because, you know, I have a highly respect for this gentleman.
Okay.
And, you know, he's a, how to say in Dutch, he's a jurist. So he can give you different angles of different topics.
Which is important.
Yes. Mr. Denicio Brison, how are you doing, brother?
Oh, happy to be here.
happy to have you here, brother. I'm truly happy. You know, I saw, an interview with you and Mr. Earl Gibbs. And it was really, really interesting. But the piece I got, I couldn't get the full of it. So I decided I'm going to invite you on a program for us to talk a little bit about what is happening with the World Bank and Dutch and St. Martin, etc. But before we go there, Mr. Brison, my first question to you is, you've been in and out of government. Well, you've been in Parliament as an advisor for almost 10 years now.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm the longest serving advisor in Parliament right now. I came into Parliament before the first year was over. Parliament opened in 2010, October, and about 6 to 8 months after that, I've been there, and I've been there ever since.
Wow.
Okay.
Currently still sitting there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
As a matter of fact, this morning I wrote an advice on the pension law that they're working on right now to raise the age.
Okay.
We right now busy scrutinizing that, and that's one of the things I'm looking at.
Awesome.
Okay. You know, Mr. Bryce, my one thing that concerns me, you know, I'm back in St. Martin almost 4 years now, and I would like your point of view on how you see the in and out, throwing out government back and forth. You know, what is your take on that? I see it. Let me tell you first my opinion. I truly believe you have people that throw down government for their own agenda, but I believe you have people that throw down government also for the country, meaning what's happening there is not right, you know. And now, well, as a St. Martiner seeing now, the government we have now, my opinion is, I get to appreciate
previous government
Okay.
much more.
Okay.
Seeing the government that we have now, because I believe a government is for the people. So when the people need you, you have to be there so you can serve them. But anyway, give me your.
Okay, what happened in St. Martin after 10-10-10 when we went into the parliamentary system we currently have? Two interesting things happened. First of all, we had a separation of powers, meaning that for the first time, the people who we elected were separated into an executive and a legislative
Yes.
branch. Before,
Island
the same
Council.
people who were in the Island Council were in the Executive Council. Now, the people who we elect as parliamentarians are not in government. We separate them completely. So an MP, and people are always under the impression that I voted for you, why are you not a minister? You do not vote for ministers. You vote for members of parliament.
Yes.
And then those members of parliament, they select ministers. What happened with that is this. Once those 15 people are selected, it took them a very short time to realize that each of them is a power unto themselves. Because any 8 make the government.
Right.
So they don't need a party anymore. And when the parliamentarians in St. Martin realized that all of them are a kingmaker, it made government very unstable, and it took the power out of hands of party leaders, because any 8, regardless to which party you're on, and in our legal system, you are free to cross the aisle and leave your party, and most importantly, when you leave the party, you're allowed to keep the seat.
Yeah.
So you can move left, right,
Right.
back and forth. And when people realize that, hey, once I'm elected, I'm a king.
Yeah.
My party leader has 1 vote, but so do I. And that is one of the reasons why you find this constant shifting of coalitions and of governments, because every parliamentarian realizes that he has the power by his vote to change and make governments. It's an awesome amount of responsibility to have. And what we are having in this young democracy, I say let it play itself out, let people get used to that. It has a bad part and it has a good part. The negative part is that it presents a kind of chaotic situation where governments are constantly changing. But the positive part is this: power has been totally distributed. No one person has power anymore.
Yes.
You have 15 kings. One person no longer holds the power anymore.
So it
that's
doesn't matter if you have 1,000, 2,000 votes. Whenever you can get only 1 seat.
you can only get 1 vote in parliament.
Yes.
So that's the nice part of it, in that it has spread out democracy, it has made it more diffused. But one of the corollaries to that is that it has also created some instability.
Instability. Yes. Well, I seen it. I seen that the instability of government back and forth.
Correct.
But as I say,
But do you like the fact that no one, you don't have any more power broker anymore? They have no more power. You don't have no more a strong man.
oh, okay.
There's no more strong man in St.
I-
Martin politics.
Yeah, I understand that. But for example, let me ask you this now. Like we have a government of 8 now,
Yes.
right? If this actual government, let's say, disagreement come, it falls, can the Dutch come in like they happen in Station or not?
Ah, that's a very interesting remark you just made. I do not want to go too far afield, but on the 25th of February, the International Court of Justice issued a blockbuster judgment that has pulled the underpinnings from under the kingdom, and most people are not aware of it. Not only did they issue that judgment, but the Kingdom of the Netherlands issued a 19-page document in support of the judgment. And the judgment basically says this: it was a dispute between Mauritius and Great Britain about a territory that Britain had taken away from Mauritius in 1965 prior to their independence. They had signed an agreement with Britain. Britain had paid them money for these islands. These islands are called the Chagos Islands. And the Chagos Islands are important because it contains an island called Diego Garcia. If you know anything about geopolitics, you would recognize right away that Diego Garcia is where America has its largest military base in the Indian Ocean. That's why America wanted that island. and England separated it and leased it to America. It is
Wow.
it is British territory. That judgment I'm talking about was an argument between Mauritius and England, because Mauritius argued that England was not
And this is going to call
authorized.
for us too.
But let me explain
go ahead,
why.
Go ahead.
The agreement they signed with England to cede these islands to England, they challenged it. And what did the court say? The court said something that was shocking. It said the following: when a colony, a former colony, and a metropolitan country enter into any agreement that involves giving large concessions, those agreements are invalid, because you cannot express your free will when you are under the authority of someone else. Do you know that put our whole relationship with Holland since 1954, even to our kingdom charter, was signed when we were under authority, and it contains a lot of concessions we give to Holland under pressure. All of those things are called into question because this is the highest international court in the world. And it says when you are under someone's authority, you cannot exercise your genuine free will, and agreements you sign under those conditions are invalid.
Wow.
So that means the Dutch can come in whenever.
No, it means that the agreements we signed to give them the authority to come in was invalid.
Oh, okay.
We signed that agreement that gave them the authority to come in, and this international court is saying, hey, that agreement you signed to allow them to come in is invalid because you were under their authority.
When you're talking about station now?
No, I'm talking about the whole
Okay,
Antilles.
Antilles.
The Kingdom Charter, its statute,
Okay.
is called into question because the authority they got, it's in that statute. And they always said, you signed the statute, you agreed to it. And here is the international court saying, you cannot agree to something of your free will when you are under someone's authority. So, that authority that Holland has to come in is now in question. Because we tell them, hey, just a minute, the international court said that agreement we signed it, we were on your authority. And the international court is saying those agreements are null and void because we did not have any free will. If I am under your authority, I cannot exercise free will.
Correct.
It's a blockbuster. It's
Understand.
going to have consequences for the French side also.
Wow.
But they are not aware of it as yet. Right now, Amastasia has brought it to the attention of the courts.
Of course.
Yes. And Holland is aware that we know about it. And we brought it to the attention of the court, and Holland has to answer back on the 16th of June.
Right.
So that dispute has already taken place in court.
So it's in court now.
But the bottom line is this, that the agreement that we had that gave Holland the authority to come in,
that was 10 you're talking about.
no, the Kingdom Charter was signed in 1954.
Okay.
Its statute.
Yes.
When we found the kingdom, that whole document is called into question because you cannot sign a valid agreement when you're under someone's authority.
Because I'm hearing, as I said.
But you understand what
Yeah, I follow you.
what that does?
I follow you.
Because it says, hold on here a minute, that agreement I signed with you that gives you that authority, I did it when it was under your authority, and therefore it is not valid. On the 25th.
that what you're saying is void now from the 1954.
It's not, I'm not saying it's void, but the International Court of Justice has ruled
I understand.
that those agreements,
But what I'm saying, that means then,
that this issue has to, before we go into business with Holland, that has to be straightened out.
So even what they're doing with Stacia,
That is in court. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it just came out on the 25th of February. This is fresh, new information.
no, but okay, but what I'm saying is, so Holland is saying that if government keep falling, Holland back, they want to come in and do the thing because that means the country can't, or we can't run the
But
country.
what I'm saying is this. The authority for them to come in is based on Article 43 in the Kingdom Charter.
Okay, I follow you.
And that article now has been called into
But
question.
based on what that article is saying, they can come in. When we
Article 43 says that basically, if there's a situation that the kingdom believes that they could intervene, that they have the right to intervene. Article 43 gives them a certain amount
I
of
understand,
authority.
but what I'm saying is, what's their reason for coming in?
Well, they look at station, they make a report, say, your country is running chaotic, I'm going to come in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they just make a report and then say, yeah,
I'm
based on
coming.
Article 43, I'm authorized to do it. But now Article 43 has been called into question.
International Court.
Yes, because it was signed when I was on the authority. I could not exercise free will. I could not say no, I don't want it. I had no free will.
I understand. I'm following. So now, June, the judge have to.
No, the judge will not rule it yet, as yet. In June, the Dutch kingdom is going to answer back to that argument that Station has put forward. That, hey, by the way, recently we got this from the International Court of Justice, and everything we signed with you is invalid. So we throw it at them. It was thrown at them. So it's going to be a discussion in the right forum, in a court of law. Not in parliament, not in the street, not in a bar, in a court of law.
Okay. So I understand you. I just hope the people them out there understand basically.
So if Holland were to say, you know what, we want to make a move because we don't like what's going on in the station.
Or in St. Martin.
Yeah, in St. Martin right now. As of this afternoon, you are aware that the article that they want to use to intervene is invalid.
Yeah.
So the whole underpinning on the kingdom has been pulled away.
If anything happens, then we...
The first thing, hey, just a minute.
Hold on
a minute. The International Court said that all agreements signed when you're under authority are null and void.
So you can't just come in and do
that. Agreement is null and void. We can start appealing to that and tell them this comes from the highest court in the world. And you know where that court sits? Right in The Hague, Holland.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the highest court. That's in the Holland.
The highest court is the International Court.
Yeah, International Court of Justice.
Yeah.
And it sits in The Hague in Holland. And I was telling Belidi, they use 2 official languages. That sentence that I'm talking about was issued in 2 languages, French and English.
Wow. Mr. Brison, before we go, I wanted to talk about the World Bank. Okay? I'm reading different stuff about the World Bank, back and forth, you know. I see a picture here, let me show you, with the Minister of Curacao. He went to the World Bank. It says, supposedly, our dream is a world free of poverty. The World Bank said that.
Yeah.
They have that big in the office. One of your comments was with Owen Gibbs. You said something really, really remarkable, something that made me think. You said, if we take this money and we put it in a lot of social things,
infrastructural
project, and we're not gaining no money to pay back.
You impoverish the country and you come. That is what the World Bank's projects, they are well intended, but they create poverty.
They're well intended, okay.
But they create poverty because you take a big loan and most of their projects are non-revenue generating.
Right.
So it's like if I'm making 1,000 guilders a month, $1,000, and I go and I buy a car, and I have to pay $300 a month for that car. I have just made myself $300 poorer because the car does not generate. It's nice to have.
Yeah.
It's pretty. I can understand. It's very useful, but it generates the revenue for me. The end result is that I have gone backward in my income by $300 a month. I'm poorer. But if I take that same $300 and I buy a bus, and the bus is generating $700 a month, I pay the bank $300 and I keep $400. I have gotten $400 richer.
Right.
It's the difference between consumption and investment. This is a program we call Strictly Business. You are business people, I assume, and I know you are.
Yes.
You know the difference between consumption and investment.
Yes.
The World Bank's loans are basically consumption loans. They do not generate any money to repay themselves. Of course, they have indirect benefits. Infrastructure is always needed. You need bridges, you need roads in every country. But they never generate direct revenue.
But did Holland have to use World Bank to issue this money?
Well, what Holland did,
it was international level or not?
It was a good move to use the World Bank because what they have done, they have put a neutral party in between to administer this money. So you don't have no argument, Holland doing this, you're bringing in too much Dutch people, you are rigging the bids in favor of your company. No, the World Bank now runs the whole project. They put out the bids, they select the contractors based on the prices and whatever criteria. So they put a neutral third party in between, which I find is a good thing.
Okay.
So you don't have no argument between us and Holland.
But people is arguing on the fee too, they have to pay them.
Oh, well, the World Bank, they're going to rape you because they tell you they work for plunder. They want to eradicate poverty. But one of the things anybody should do before they get involved with the World Bank is walk around the world and talk to all the countries that ever had a loan with the World Bank.
You talk about Haiti too.
Every country, African countries, most of them are worse off because I haven't dealt with the World Bank. And the reason for that is very simple. There is not one single country in the world that has gone from undeveloped to developed status by aid. Not one country, never happened.
But what is stopping the World Bank now from putting their money in income generating projects?
You have to set the priorities. They do not like to do it because they like to have the government tied to these big infrastructural projects, because when you build a road, a bridge for a country, that government is bound to pay back that loan. It's a 20, 30-year commitment. And when you build a bridge, and that bridge is there in the country, whether it's generating money or not, you have it, so you got to pay the loan.
Right.
Yes.
But if they give you the money to build, let's say, a factory, and the factory closes down, right? What incentive is there for you to pay back because the factory is not generating the money?
It's gone bankrupt.
Yeah, it's gone bankrupt, it's broken down.
That's it.
So people have less incentive to repay loans for failed
Projects.
investment projects. But a bridge can't fail easily, a road cannot fail easily, a government building can't fail easily. So they like to finance those kind of things that the people have a psychological imperative, a motive to continue paying these loans for the 20 and 30 years. Because the building is there, you're using the building.
Yeah.
They're covering themselves.
Yes.
This is
exactly.
what I gave you.
And there it is, and you're using
There
it every day.
Yes.
But sometimes they could still build a factory. After 10, 15 years, the factory went bankrupt. You got a wrecked building lying down there. And you're paying the loan on this. The new politician who comes in, he could easily question, but why am I paying for this thing and it's not generating any money, it's a wreck. So that's the reason why the World Bank is very leery of getting involved in investments. They like infrastructure. It doesn't generate any money, but it ties the country to repaying it. Because you have the airport, you have the bridge, you have this new highway, you're using it every day, your people love it, pay, but it's not generating any income. And the end result is that the country is impoverished. You have a nice road, but you're impoverished because you're paying back this huge amount of money, and the road is not generating anything to pay it. But you're using it, of course.
Right.
But even though the World Bank is there, Mr. Brison, I'm seeing, and when you hear Parliament, that the Dutch is still involved, meaning they want somebody on the board of the airport, etc., etc.
Of course, because they were the brokers, I understand, for getting this loan from the European Development Bank, because it's not money from Holland. Holland loaned this money and passed it on to St. Martin. So that is why they have a finger, like they say in Dutch, they have a finger in the pie. They were instrumental in obtaining these funds. And I think that the European Development Bank also requires certain commitments on their part to see that these funds are well spent. And that is why the European Development Bank also asks them to put the World Bank in charge of managing this money.
But how come then we hear certain government officials repeating and saying this money is the taxpayers' money from Holland? Is that true, or that's not accurate?
I cannot tell you all the details about the money, but I know the bulk of it is actually from the European Development Bank.
Okay.
But don't hold me to it too hard, but I'm sure that that is what is the case. Now, how much Holland directly contributed from their own pot, I do not know. Yeah.
Okay, maybe they...
But the bulk of it is a loan from the European Development Bank.
And I remember you was talking also about Mullet Bay.
Yes.
How can St. Martin, because you was talking about the World Bank.
Okay. I know Billy D, this is one of Billy D's favorite, whipping horses. But look, we know two important things. During the debacle with Mr. Ansari and the central bank, it was revealed that the property had been appraised by one of the world's top appraisal companies, and it's worth $48 million.
Yes.
I was always wondering what was Mullet Bay worth. Now we know. What I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. This money from the World Bank, this Hurricane Irma, can be a golden opportunity for us. We should take the money that we got from the World Bank. Don't use it for useless infrastructural projects. We should take that money, buy back Mullet Bay, develop one of the world's top-class resorts, and put St. Martin economy on supercharge.
Sounds
It will generate 2,000 jobs.
I heard
And
that
one of the
from
things
you.
Billy D always talks about, that is what we should do with the money. Don't put it into infrastructural projects that won't generate any money for you. Mullet Bay is a very safe investment. And talking about in Martin economy, I hear them whipping themselves into a froth about the Martin economy. Look, talking about St. Martin economy without in Mullet Bay online is like having a jet on the tarmac with the engines lying next to it. It will never fly. So now Irma presented us with this unique opportunity where we have this money. What I'm suggesting and what I want to work towards is that the government does a feasibility study. Don't just take my word for it or their word. Do a study.
No, but it will boost. That's a fact.
No, that's the fact. Do a study and ask what is the best way to use this money. Building infrastructural projects, fixing roofs, doing this, doing that, or buying Mullet Bay and rebuilding a world-class resort.
No, but what I'm saying is,
But
fact is, Mr. Brison, fact is that it will boost our economy. That's a fact.
But what I want to say is this. You know how governments work. They want studies and reports.
Yes.
Let us get a reputable firm to make that study first. We know what the result is going to be. It's going to tell you right off, you're better off using this money doing Mullet Bay. The risk of it failing is very small. And if it succeeds, the benefits are so tremendous, you will be a fool to do anything else with that money.
Yes.
Now, will the World Bank agree to that? Or it's not up to them?
Well, the problem is this.
Uh-huh.
You have to repay this loan. So you should be the one making it. You should decide where you want to spend this loan. I go to the bank and the bank tell me, you know what, I want to give you a loan to buy a car. And you say, no, I don't want a car. I want a bus.
Right. So, that's why I heard you say, when you say that, I was like, wow, that remarkable, brother. And Brian,
it's the difference between consumption and investment.
But seeing, again, that money they have there, Brian, the Prime Minister already said that they have a breakdown of all where this money goes.
I will stop, but
yeah,
I'm working on that. I'm working on this. I'm doing something about it. But the bottom line is, everything should be put on hold, and this idea should be sent for a study and a report to determine whether this is better to do than what you have on the table. And based on that decision, you make a go.
Well, Mr. Brison, another thing before we go, because we gotta go just now. Back in the day, I read of politics back in the day, back in TP days, okay? Those days, I even when my father was in government, they used to come with a lot of guys with, let's say, with capital to invest, meaning that, let's say we're talking about World Bank with Mullet Bay, but I'm not feeling it no more in St. Martin, meaning go out there, get somebody, listen, you see this place here, it has, invest your money here. I'll give you 10-year break, whatever.
Once St. Martin reopens Mullet Bay, those people are going to show up. Because then you have an economic engine.
Yes.
Right now, look, having Mullet Bay closed for the last 25, 30 years, whatever the number is, from 1995 to now that's 25 years, it's an economic crime against the people of St. Martin. We have lost billions of dollars by allowing that prime resort, that prime property.
I saw an old picture, Brian, of that beach. I met people, brother.
I met someone I was talking to, I met them casually in a building, and they told me they were last year at some conference of tourism in Jamaica. And Butch, I think his name is Butch Lewis, the owner of Sandals in Jamaica. When he found out he was sitting next to somebody from St. Martin, the person told me, he told him, if you guys were to get Mullet Bay online, it will be the top resort in the Caribbean. He said, after that, he met a Spanish hotel group that builds hotels in Santo Domingo. And he said, when they heard he was from St. Martin, the first thing they asked him, what about that Mullet Bay property?
Wow. Still sitting there.
So we have a golden opportunity. Tomorrow morning, that study should be commissioned by the government to find out what is the best way to use this money.
But Mr. Ansari himself, I don't know if you know or the governor, he's self willing to sell it or willing to develop it?
No, what we'll have to do, we'll have to do what we call it, we'll have to exercise something we call in law eminent domain. Meaning that we take it from him and pay him his 48 million and tell him we need it for the economic survival of the island. We do it when we want land to build roads and so forth. It's called eminent domain. There's a process in the law to do it, that the government declares that this particular piece of land is needed, and they do it to build roads. Imagine the Stabaki economy. That is a much more important project than building a road. We could easily exercise, the island could easily exercise its right to eminent domain, put the $48 million in Mr. Ansari bank account, take the land back, and develop our island again. If you're out Balabay online, you have nothing going on.
Well, Sir Martin, you heard it, brother. You heard it. Mallet Bay is the key. Mallet Bay is the key for us to be back on track.
And we got the chance now.
Yep, Ryan.
St. Martin people, that's our time for today. Thank our guests for coming in, Mr. Brison, for that awesome, great information. Remember, St. Martin people, life is all about choices. So be careful who you choose and what you choose, because time waits on no one. Till next time, strictly business.